Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd do a video on the carrot cake cupcakes I made at the weekend. The recipe that I used was from thecraftingnook.com. The link will be in the description box down below, and this is a little screenshot of the recipe that I used, but I'm just going to do a quick little time-lapse video on me baking these cupcakes. So yeah, let's get into it. So first step is to grate some carrots. She uses 3 carrots in this recipe, so I'm just grating them now. I'm just going to add these to the blender along with 2 cups of sugar and half a cup of vegetable oil and 4 egg yolks, and just blend that up. I'm now going to mix the egg whites until they form peaks. And now I'm just going to add in the carrot mixture and whisk that up. I think I made the carrot mixture a bit too liquid, but it worked out fine in the end. So just adding that in there and scraping it out of the blender and mixing that in well. So the recipe says to add 2.5 cups of flour. I personally used self-raising flour, so I didn't add the tablespoon of baking powder, but I'm just adding the 2.5 cups of self-raising flour and the teaspoon of cinnamon and mixing that together in a large mixing bowl. I'm now adding the liquid ingredients to the dry ingredients and mixing them in, and getting my hand mixer to make sure that they're really well mixed and all of the ingredients are well incorporated. I'm just scraping down the sides of the bowl to make sure there's no leftover flour and mixing that in well, and then I added a teaspoon of vanilla that wasn't actually in the recipe. I'm just filling my muffin tray with my cupcake liners, and I personally use a ice cream scoop to fill up my cupcake liners, but it's completely up to you. I'd say fill them about 3/4 of the way, although these did come out quite big and I had loads of batter left over. It says that the recipe makes 12 cupcakes, but I ended up making about 18 normal size cupcakes and then 12 mini ones, which you can see me making a mess of here. I tried cleaning that up as best as I could because I don't like leaving batter on the tray because it's just harder to clean up afterwards. Once you've filled all your cupcake trays up, put them in the oven for 30 to 40 minutes at 180 degrees. And I'd say keep an eye on them because I could have taken mine out at 25 minutes and I think they would have been fine because they did end up being a bit crispy on the top. But yeah, once you've taken them out of the oven, let them cool in the tin for 5 minutes and then carefully take them out of the tin and let them cool completely on a wired rack before you start frosting them. So for the buttercream icing, I'm just mixing 1 cup of butter that I had at room temperature and making it all fluffy with the mixer. I'm then slowly adding 2.5 cups of powdered sugar bit by bit. I don't know why I made such a mess. Making sure that's well incorporated, and I'm just adding a teaspoon of cinnamon and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I added it halfway through just so that I didn't forget. So I wanted to make my buttercream into 2 different colours, so I separated it into 2 different bowls and I added green and yellow food colour into one of them to make a pale green colour and blue and red to the other one to make like a lilac-y purple colour. I'm quite happy with how the colours turned out. It did take a bit of mixing to make the green, although the purple came out straight away as I had intended. I then got a glass and put my piping bag in it, and I filled half of the piping bag with one colour and half with the other colour. I'm using a Wilton 2D nozzle. Here you can see how my piping bag just exploded and went everywhere, so I quickly tried to fix that and then I carried on piping. It actually burst a second time, but I didn't catch that on camera. And yeah, I'm just finishing off the roses on these cupcakes, starting in the centre and making my way outwards. I know I'm not the best at piping, but I'm definitely getting better, so I really like how these turned out, and I love this effect with this Wilton 2D nozzle. Buying a better quality nozzle really makes a difference. I used to use cheap ones and my piping skills were dreadful, and ever since I've been using the Wilton 2D I feel like they've improved so much, so I definitely recommend getting a Wilton nozzle. And yeah, I then added these little flowers and little carrots which I forgot to add on camera, but this is what they look like in the end. And I feel like the cupcakes, they look pretty and they tasted really nice, and they're quite easy to make, so